Hello students, so we have another set of questions and hope you had written the exam very well. So let us discuss how things have gone right or wrong according to the score that you might have scored this time. Okay, so as usual, the first set of questions on the board, you need to fill it up using the proper words given as options. Okay, I'll tell you which one is correct. Along with that, I'll tell you why other options cannot be used. Okay, so we have 3 questions on the board where you need to fill up each blank with the particular word which fits into the blank. Okay, so the first one is, throughout the years, Rita has dash a style of her own. You need a word which means developed. Okay, so out of the 4 options, one of the words, okay, that is similar to the meaning of developed. So that is the word you need to find out, or that is the word with which you have to fill it up. Okay, so we have evolved, dissolve, devolve, resolve. Alright, so out of these words, like similar sounding words, only one word means develop, and that is what you have to choose for this blank, and that word actually is evolved. Evolved means to develop. So throughout the years, or else in course of time, this girl Rita has developed or evolved a style of her own. Okay, now why can't you choose the other words, because those words have got different meanings. Dissolve means to put an end to something, dissolve a meeting, etc., etc. Then devolve actually means to degenerate, to change the level of something. To degenerate means to go down. Okay, from a particular position you get transferred to another level, which means maybe a lower level. Okay, and that is devolve. Resolve means resolution or to decide, etc., etc. Okay, now the next blank is, the next sentence is, his act was not dashed by anyone. Okay, so like when people do not agree to his act, so that agree to meaning is to be found with the help of the words given. His act was not approval by anyone is actually the word approve has been used, but then you need to find out the exact form of the word approve. Okay, approval, approving, ing form, approved, the base form or the root form, but approved, was not. So was not approved in past tense. Okay, so his act was not approved by anyone. It should be taken in the past tense form. All right. Now next is, smoking in public has been dashed by law. So I guess this was the easiest one to find. Why? Because in the pack or else when you have films where smoking or drinking liquor is shown, of course it's that sign is given. Okay, that warning is given, like prohibited. That word prohibited is exactly the word to be used. Okay, smoking in public has been prohibited means strictly done by law. Something which is enforced by law, and that is very strict by action. So to give that sense, you cannot use any other word but prohibited. Okay, so the first blank needs evolved, second one approved, third is prohibited. Now we will move on to the next set of questions where we have in the following questions, out of the 4 alternatives or options given to you, you have to find out the synonym or the word which best expresses the meaning of the given word, which means you have to find out the synonym of the word given to you. Okay, like the first is segregate. What is segregate? That means from a group, when you what do you call, you keep aside another thing from a group, something is kept aside, you call it as segregate. Okay, or else something which is separate. So that word separate is given. This is the exact meaning of the word segregate. That means to separate. So other words are actually antonyms, like connect, disconnect. Okay, disconnect is also one of the synonyms of segregate. Then seclude. Here we have include. Include is the opposite of segregate. Okay, and unite, separate. So from a group, when you keep aside something separately, you call it as segregate. All right. Now the next word is sedentary. Sedentary means something which is inactive, not moving, or still. The word still is given to you as the option, and that is the exact meaning of the word sedentary. So something like other three words options given to you, active, moving, flowing, are actually the opposites of sedentary. Okay, so something which is active or moving, okay, going on or moving, flowing, those are the opposites of sedentary, and we are asked to find out the synonym similar in meaning, and here only one word fits into that category, still, something inactive. Okay, suppose if this word had been inactive or unmoving, you could have taken that as the option. So here opposites are given, only one synonym is given, and that is still. Okay, so segregate meaning separate, then sedentary meaning still, something which is not moving. Okay, it's a repetition of the same question. Okay, now we have the like two questions 6 and 7 on the board, where you are asked to find out the opposites of the words. So far for the previous exercise we were asked to find out the synonyms, and right now antonyms are opposite. Okay, so we have the word predominant, something which is significant or chief or important or main, you call it as predominant. Dominant or predominant means main, chief or significant. So now when I uttered that word significant, automatically you might have got the opposite of that word given to you in the list, and that is insignificant. Okay, so predominant means significant. Obviously the opposite will be insignificant. Superior, extreme, and these could be taken as the synonyms for predominant, but we are asked to find out the antonym, so only one word is the antonym given in the given list, and that is insignificant. Okay, now we have next word distinctive. Distinctive is something very clear, vivid, which gives you a kind of clear picture, so the opposite of that will be vague. Okay, so if distinctive is very clear, okay, so the opposite of that will be vague. Distinctive also means unique, something clear, something common, something which could be identified or recognized. Okay, so these two words could be taken as the synonyms for the word distinctive, and only one antonym is here in the list, and that is vague. Okay, so unique and recognizable could be taken in a sense, a kind of synonym for the word distinctive. Alright, and you are asked to find out the opposite. So that is vague. So for the word predominant, antonym or opposite is insignificant, and for the word distinctive, the opposite is vague. Okay, so we have completed 7 questions. Now we will move on to the next set. Next type of questions 8 to 10. We have idioms given to you, and from the options you need to find out the meaning of the idiom which is given to you. And this time also you have only one idiom is there without in the form of an example. It's given as such, the idiom, you need to find it out from the context, not from the context but on your own. But then for the 9th and 10th sentences or questions, you have been given that in the form of a sentence, so you can find it out from the given context. Okay, so 8th question, to smell a rat. To smell a rat, or in other words, when you say something fishy, something suspicious, right? So to smell a rat or something fishy, almost same in meaning, almost same usage. Okay, to smell a rat is not actually smell the real smell of a rat or something stinky, or to hope even when there is no reason for it. No, it has got nothing to do with any hope. To discover a new trend, of course not, but to suspect something wrong. So when you say something fishy, that means you are suspicious that something might have gone wrong, right? Something is wrong there. Exactly the same meaning is conveyed when you use the term or when you use the idiom to smell a rat. To smell a rat and something fishy, same in meaning. Okay. Then from the sentence, it's very clear. He charged into the class. When somebody gets in a hurry, or else reaches in a hurry, or else enter in a hurry, you call it as to charge in charge into. Okay, so not taking charge of the class or charged the class or came slowly, that's just the opposite, but came rushing in. Okay, so he charged into the class means he came rushing in. He entered almost in a hurry. So came rushing in is the meaning given for charged into. Okay, then next idiom is, if you want to join army, you need to be as fit as a fiddle. As fit as a fiddle, it is something connected with not your courage or such qualities, but your physical strength. Okay, so especially the clue is given to you. If you want to join army, of course in army that physical test also is conducted, right? So if you want to join army, you need to be as fit, means here it denotes physical fitness. That means as healthy as a fiddle, as strong or as healthy. So here with the help of this example, you might have got the answer correct, and that is healthy, not skillful or bravery or lean or anything like that, but being healthy. That physical health or fitness is what you mean by as fit as a fiddle. Okay, so to smell a rat means to suspect something wrong, then charged into means came rushing in, and as fit as a fiddle means being healthy or being physically able or fit. Okay, now we have passage based questions, or else you have been given a passage where a few words are missing, and you have to find out from the given options which word will be suitable to fill up the gaps. Okay, it's very easy. You might have scored full marks for this passage, I'm sure. Even without even checking the options, you may find. Okay, every month scientists dash new gadgets. Of course, scientists, what do? They do not discover, but they invent. Scientists, their main task is to invent something. You know the difference between invent and discover. What is the difference? Invent means you make something new or for the first time. Okay, but discover is something there. It was there already, and you just find it out. Okay, so here you need the word invent, not discover. So every month scientists invent, okay, invent new gadgets and new ways to make technology faster and better. Our homes are full of hardwares and dash. Of course, hardware. With hardware, what else do you require? Software. Okay, and software. All right, such as computer games and MP3s, etc. Now, dash suggests, however, that it is a young people. Dash suggests means not program or experiment or industry, but research. That means according to survey or research. Okay, research suggests, however, that it is the young people or the youngsters who are best able to deal with this change, or else the youngsters are good at accepting or coping with changes, who are best able to deal with this change, whereas teenagers have no problem dash not inventing, explaining, discovering, but operating a DVD player. Operating a DVD player. Their parents, we're comparing the teenagers to their parents, but their parents and grandparents often find using new technology complicated and different or difficult. Okay, complicated means difficult, complicated and different. All right, so with these words you can make it a meaningful passage. So every month scientists invent new gadgets and new ways to make technology faster and better. Our homes are full of hardware and software, and research suggests, however, that it is the young people who are best able to deal with this change. When teenagers have no problem operating a DVD player, their parents and grandparents often find using new technology quite complicated and different. So with these words, simple words, you got the passage clear. Next we have, okay, again in these sentences, a part of the sentence has been underlined. And in case if you have a better option with which you can substitute the underlined part, you may choose that. In case if it is already correct, there is no requirement of any changes, you can use that last option, no improvement. Okay. Let us check the first question there. He had rashes on his skin, so he went to the dermatologist. Okay, so here, what are the options given so that we can find out whether we need any change or not? To the specialist, to the ophthalmologist, then to the pediatrics, no improvement. Actually, the one who deals with your skin care, or else the one who deals with, or the doctor who will suggest you remedies for any disease that affects your skin, he or she is called a dermatologist. So there is no need to change anything. It's already correct. Okay. So when he had rashes on his skin, obviously he will go to a dermatologist. So there is no requirement of any improvement. So like no improvement is the option that you have to choose for the first one. Okay. Now next is, despite being tried her best to persuade her husband to give up smoking, she could not attain success. So here, despite being tried her best. So despite, actually you need a gerund form of the verb when you start with despite. So when you have the word despite with which you start something, you need the gerund form or ing of the verb. Not despite being tried, but trying her best. So you have to remove this being, and then like you have to change try into trying. That means trying. Okay, so that is given as one of the options. Despite trying her best. So this is the correct answer. Despite trying her best to persuade her husband to give up smoking, she could not attain success. So this sentence requires correction, and that is with the first option, despite, because the word despite with which we started the sentence, you should use a gerund with the verb, and try is the verb. You have to make it a gerund. Gerund means adding ing form or making it ing form. So despite trying her best is the correct answer. Okay. Now next is, the prince has been slayed his rival. So in the first place, has been slayed is wrong. But then can we use has slayed? That is not used as or given as one of the options. Actually the problem is, you need to know the third form of the verb or V3 of this slay. See, slay is V1, root form. Okay, the V2 of that is slew. Simple past tense of slay is slew. And the third one, V3 or past participle form, actually is not slay or slayed, because there is no ed form. It changes into slew if you make it into past tense, right? So what is the third form of this this word, root word slay? S-L-A-I-N, slain. So this is wrong, right? So the prince not has been slayed, but has slain his rival. Has slain his rival. So remember, you need to know the forms of the verb. Only then you will get the correct answer. V1, V2, V3. V1 means root form, which is slay, and you do not change it into ed form. Instead, to make it simple past tense, it is slew, and third form or past participle form is not slayed or slew again, but slain. So that is given as one of the options. So this is the correct answer, has slain. Now it makes a sensible sentence. The prince has slain his rival. Okay. Now, next is, he has invested a good deal of money in bank stock. Obviously, you know that infested is not the word we use in connection with bank account, or when you you deal with bank stock. It's not infested but invested. What is infested then? If it is wrong, what is the meaning of infested? Infested means something connected with pests. P-E-S-T-S, pests. Okay, something which is connected with pests or insects, or something which has been affected by pests. You call it as infested, and that has got nothing to do with bank or money or stock or anything like that, or money matters. So invested is the word. He has invested a good deal of money in bank stock is the correct option. Okay. Next, such discrepancies can be founded in the work culture of other countries. Obviously it is wrong. Can be founded is wrong. So what should be the correct? Do we use can be founded? Can be founded, see, past tense of find is found. Find, found. Found for the third form also. Okay. So there is no ed form. So it is not can be founded but can be found. There is no ed form there. Okay. Find, found, not find, founded. Alright. So such discrepancies can be found in the work culture of other countries is the correct answer. Alright. So only the first type did not have any change. The other three types had errors which you have to correct. Now again we have another passage given to you which is quite easy. You will get the answer very quickly. So it's all about Jaggu, who was the proprietor or owner of a restaurant, and he had plenty of customers, but still he lived in jhopatpattis, in one of the jhopatpattis or hut-like structures in Mumbai. The reason is the rents of those flats were too high, so high that even a restaurant owner like Jaggu was not able to afford it. Okay. So that's the gist of this particular passage. Now let us check the questions and the options given to you. Why did Jaggu live in a slum? So even after being the proprietor of a restaurant, why is it that he lives in a slum, not in a flat? Okay, the reason is given in the opening part itself. See, Jaggu was the proprietor of a restaurant and had plenty of customers, yet his house was in a slum. Okay. Because there were not enough house of flats. The rents of even smallest flats were too high for people like Jaggu. Why? Because the rent of flats was so high that Jaggu cannot or he could not afford it. Okay. Now, where did Hari go along with Mr. Panwala? Alright. So that is given. These shacks clung to the side of a hill by the sea to which Mr. Panwala had taken Hari, and why did he go? Not where did, but it should have been why. Okay, and what is the reason to which Mr. Panwala had taken Hari? To see the advancing monsoon. To see the advancing monsoon. That is the reason why he had gone along with Mr. Panwala to watch the advancing of the monsoon. So that question requires some sort of correction. It's not where but why. Okay. Now, what do sunshine and seagull signify? So actually those are names, but names of what? That is the question. Where did we come across this, these two words sunshine? See, the names like sunshine and seagull in which rich people live. So obviously those are not the names of roads but names of houses where the rich people lived. Not the names of roads, not the names of rich people, names of locality, but see, the houses had been large and tall. These houses with the names where rich people lived. Okay, those are the names of houses, it's obvious. Now finally one more question based on the passage. Who was Jaggu? Coming back to the first sentence, Jaggu was the proprietor of a restaurant. So, was he a customer of the restaurant? No. The cook of a restaurant, the waiter, but the owner of, proprietor means the owner of a restaurant. Okay. So, we got that also based on the first part. Sometimes, so do not think that like it would be given in the questions will be given in the particular order where for the first question the answer will be in the first line or second line. Sometimes even for the last question you have to go back to the first sentence. Okay, like the one which is given to you on the board, the last question based on the passage, for that you need to read the first line of the passage. Okay, so these are the answers. Now 26 and 27 two questions. In the following questions, some part of the or some parts of the sentence might have some errors. If there is no error, you can choose the last one where it's shown as no error, or else if you have error, you have to find out that particular part. Okay. So what is the first sentence? The boy who sat close him was his son. The boy who sat close him was his son. Obviously, this part or B part had error. Sat close him is a wrong usage. So how will you correct it? So you were asked to find out the wrong part, but let me tell you the correction also. The boy who sat beside him. Not close him, but beside him. Beside means by the side. You know the difference between besides and beside. Besides means along with that, and beside means by the side of. That shows the position of something. So here you need the word not close but beside. So the boy who sat beside him was his son. Okay, so this part had error. Now next sentence, when I returned, I felt a big cat brushed side me as I opened the door. So obviously this part, a big cat brushed side me. So this word side is wrong there. And that is why that part also has gone wrong. So other parts are correct. And here also, if you use another word instead of side, automatically you will get the correct form. Okay. When I returned, I felt a big cat brush past me. P-A-S-T. Past me. Past tense itself. Past me as I opened the door. Then the sentence will be correct. So here, instead of close, you need to add beside, and instead of side you have to use the word past. Okay, when I returned, I felt a big cat brush past me as I opened the door. Now the sentence, these two sentences are correct when you substituted the words which have been circled. Okay, now next is in the following questions, like 28 and 29, two questions, you have to fill up the blank with an appropriate word given as option. Okay, one of the options is correct. Ever since Anita lost her job, she has done dash but wallow in self-pity. That means she lost her job, and after that she started, wallow means started spending time in self-pity. Doing nothing, spending time in. So doing nothing, that meaning should be conveyed, and the word nothing is already given to you as option. Okay, ever since Anita lost her job, she has done nothing but wallow in self-pity. Instead of doing anything, she just spent her time in what you call self-pitying, or feeling sympathize with oneself. Okay, now next sentence is, as I think back to my childhood, I dash recall the fun summers on my grandfather's farm. Okay, the meaning of the sentence is, when I recollect the good old days of my childhood, I dash recall the fine, funny summer days which I had in my grandfather's farm. So something, you need a word which means I recollect longingly, or else almost like with a kind of desire, or almost like with nostalgic feeling. Okay, so out of the given options, only one word has got that meaning. Is it wistfully? Physically actually has got nothing to do with this particular sentence. Physically means something connected with government matters, so this option cannot be taken. Okay, and hopefully means what? You cannot get it back. So definitely it would be the word wistfully. Wistfully means I recollect with a kind of nostalgic feeling, something which I miss. Okay, that feeling of nostalgia is what you have in wistfully. Hopefully means if you speak something about the future possibilities, you can use this hopefully word. So you have to go with the first option, wistfully, which means a kind of nostalgic feeling towards the past days. Okay. Now in the following questions, out of the four alternatives, select the word which is similar in meaning or find out a synonym. Alright. So we have two words, pillage and cluster. Cluster, you might know the meaning. So coming back to the first one, pillage. Pillage means like, suppose if you rob a person or a village or a house using violence, you call it as pillage. Okay, so when something or someone robs, or somebody robs a person, another person, a house or a village using violent measures or using violence, you call it as pillage. Okay, so similar to that word, we have desecrate. Desecrate also has got the same meaning, to ruin or to rob somebody of their wealth, and that too using violence. Okay. And bequeath means like almost like that will document, or else you leave after according to your will. You know that document, the legal document where you appoint your heir after your death, your property will be transferred or will be inherited. Okay, so bequeath means that act of giving or your wealth to someone according to that written document, bequeath. Consign, assigning, okay, entrust, consign, almost same. So desecrate is the word which means to rob somebody of their wealth, and that too using violence. Okay. Then cluster means in group. You unite something in group. So obviously the word assemblage, assemble something. Cluster, group. Not individual, which is opposite, specific, solitary. These are all opposites or antonyms. Assemblage means to gather, to unite, or to make a group, and that is what you call clustering. Okay. Now we need to find out the opposite. So earlier we were asked to find out the synonyms, right now antonyms. So you have again two words, and you need to find out the antonyms or opposites of these two words. Rampart and epidemic. Okay, rampart means actually a kind of defensive wall or fort with which you protect something, like a castle or a building, something which has been protected with a defensive wall around it, fencing it. Okay, so rampart, barricade also is fencing, fort, embankment. So actually barricade, fort and embankment could be taken as the synonyms for the word rampart, not antonyms. So only one word is not in connection with rampart, and that is ditch. You know what a ditch is? A marshy area. Okay, a pit like thing filled with water. Okay, muddy water. Now epidemic, you know that disease which is contagious, which is endemic, also same meaning. Infectious, also same meaning. So again we have A, B and D, similar in meaning, not opposite, and the opposite is limited. Limited also has got nothing to do with this. Limited means confined, not spreading, confined. Okay, so that is only possible opposite. So epidemic, contagious, endemic and infectious are synonym. A disease which is easily spread, and something which is confined is limited, opposite. So rampart, the opposite is ditch. Epidemic, the opposite is limited. Okay. Now we have 34 and 35. In the following questions, out of the four alternatives, select the alternative which best expresses the meaning of the idiom. Okay. Now again we have been given idioms on the board, but this time no clues, nothing, no sentence form given individually, so you cannot guess it out from the context in which it is given. It's just idiom given. Okay. To have at one's fingertips. Actually, this is an idiom which we like sometimes use in our daily life. Like to have something at one's fingertips means what? Like when scientific formula is asked, when people say that okay, that is at my fingertips, means something which I can recall anytime. It's in my fingertips. It's a matter of just recollecting things from my memory. Okay, so when a factual or when information or something connected to your knowledge is recollected, okay, very quickly, very easily, you call it as to have that at your fingertips. Okay, so do we have a similar meaning given? Not to be very fast on the keyboard, that's got nothing to do with keyboard playing or typing. To be adroit with the percussion, nothing to do with the musical instrument. Recall of factual information at one's command. That means when you are able to recall any factual thing, any formula, any law or principle without any complication, just you can recall it, you can recollect it in your memory so fast, so quickly, you call it as you have that at your fingertips. Okay, so this is the exact meaning. To not have a clue. So here with the word a clue, you can almost guess the meaning out, Having no idea. To not have a clue means having no idea about something, right? So to be extremely poor, no. To fail in an examination, no. To lose confidence, no. These things have got nothing to do with this idiom. To not know about something. When you have no idea, no clue about something, you use the term do not have a clue. Having no idea. Okay, so this was quite easy, right? Improve the bold part of the sentence. Bold part. This part is bold. Okay. Then this also is bold. All right. So, in these two sentences, you have been given a part which requires replacement or substitution. All right. Without which the sentence will not be correct. Now the first one, since when have to start, we do not use that have to start a business been so easy. Since when starting a business has been so easy, that's the meaning of the question conveyed, okay. So, since when has starting a business been so easy? It's in the form of a question. So, you just need to substitute this word have to with has starting. Since when has starting a business, only one business, a business, so has, not have, right? So, since when has starting a business been so easy? So, has starting is the correct option with which you can not just improving but to make the sentence correct. Okay. Next is those films being made now. Those films being made now. Now shows present tense. Okay. So those films being, that being is wrong. So is it was films plural? So obviously one plural is given as option, that is are being. Those films are being made now. Not was being because it's plural. Is being, again it's plural. Are being. Now shows present tense. Okay. So those films are being made now. So this also requires improvement and you have to substitute that with are being. Alright. Now in the following questions, out of the 4 alternatives, select the alternative which is the best substitute, or else you need to find out the one word for the sentences printed. Okay. Now the first is protection of or authority over someone. Okay. Protection of or authority of someone, authority over someone, what do you call? What is the one word for that? Protection of someone or authority over someone. Is it autonomous, tutelage? It's tutelage, you pronounce it tutelage, non-aligned, unaided. Okay, so the word actually is tutelage, which means exactly the same thing, protection of or authority over someone. Okay, what is autonomous? Self-government, self-governing, self-administration. Then non-aligned means not in alignment with another group. Unaided, not being helped. So this is the exact word which means protection of or authority over someone. Okay. Then again another sentence for which you need to find out a single word. Optimistic in an apparently difficult situation. You know the meaning of the word optimistic. That means you feel hopeful or you have hope for the future or about a particular situation, right? So here, optimistic in an apparently difficult situation. Even after the situation being tough, very difficult, but still you have a hope that things are going to be all right. Okay, so a person who is optimistic even in the toughest situation, what do you call that person? And that is the word sanguine. Sanguine is exactly the word which we use to denote a person who is hopeful, full of hope even in a very difficult situation. Okay, then pessimistic is just the opposite. Optimistic, hopeful, having hope, and pessimistic means not having hope or very much depressed. Okay, so this word cannot be taken. Then pallid and sallow, same in meaning, which means the complexion, the color of your skin which turns pale, maybe because of illness, maybe because of fear or any sort of feeling. When you turn pale, you call it as pallid or sallow, the color or the complexion. Okay, Nothing to do with the statement. So here sanguine is a person who becomes optimistic or who has hope even in a very difficult situation. Okay. Next we have in the following questions, we have been given 4 words of the same word, 4 spelling of the same word, not 4 words but same word with 4 spelling, and only one has been printed with the correct spelling, and you need to find out that. So here actuation, which spelling is correct? The spelling, the last one, D option, ACTUATION is correct. Actuation, actuation, not with SION or not actation, not actation, but actuation with ACTUATION. Okay. Same way for the next one, moth eaten, not eaten, not AN, not moth eaten. There is no word like that. Moth eaten, no word. So these are not the words. This is also wrong spelling, but moth eaten with EN at the end. So MOTHEATEN, eat, eaten, that spelling. Okay, so this is the correct spelling of the word moth eaten. Okay. Now we have these questions below consist of a set of label sentences. That means the first part of the a sentence has been given in jumbled way. For your convenience, the first part is already given. You have to complete the sentence using these options in the correct order. Okay, you have to make a sensible, meaningful sentence, the first part of which is already given on the board, and you have to use these options in the correct order to make it a meaningful, sensible or logical sentence. Okay, now that's the first option. To each of us found that. We entered and found that. And found. After entering, we found that. Okay, so we entered and found that a hut had been assigned to each of us. So to get the correct answer, always check the last word of each sentence so that you will get a clue to continue the sentence. Okay, we entered and found that a hut had been assigned to, with assigned obviously to, assigned to each of us. So what is the order in which this is to be arranged? Z, X, Y. We entered and found that a hut had been assigned to each of us. So Z, X, Y. Z, X, Y. C option. Okay. Same way, another sentence. The resulting brain change is, last word is, concomitant of, no, is the sensation, is regarded as the true concomitant of the sensation. Okay, true concomitant of the sensation. So what is the order in which this sentence has been arranged? The same way, Z, X, Y. ZXY, here also ZXY. The resulting brain change is regarded as the true concomitant of the sensation. ZXY. Where is ZXY? ZXY. Okay. So here option number C was ZXY, and here it's D, which is ZXY, but the order is the same. Okay. So ZXY is the order in which these sentences are to be rearranged so that you will get a meaningful sentence. Alright. Now next is, in the following question, a sentence has been given in active or passive voice. Out of the given options, you have to find out the passive or active. Okay. If the sentence is active, find out the passive. If the sentence is passive, find out the active. Okay. Now where is the sentence? Who taught you to ride? So for every exam, you have active and passive voice construction, right? So this actually is an active voice construction. You have to make it passive. So to make it passive, what are the 3 rules? One is change the subject to object, and then second rule is make the object a subject, and third is no change in the tense. Okay, so who taught you to write? Who taught you to write? So, by whom? You can start with by whom. Okay? By whom? Who taught? Taught is simple past tense. So, you cannot change the tense at all. You have to make it simple past tense itself. So, by whom? So, two sentences start with by whom. So, riding by you was taught by who? Riding by you was taught by whom? These options cannot be taken. So, we have two options left out where we start with by whom. That is how we have to start. By whom is you taught to write? No. Is you. Is you obviously is wrong. With you, you cannot use you is. You are. Okay, so this option cannot be taken. By whom? Where you taught. Where is past tense. So, where you taught to write. So, by whom were you taught to write? B option is the correct option. So, this is actually active voice construction. And how will you make it passive? Following the three rules. One is change the position of the subject to object. Then second rule is make the object as subject. Third is do not change the tense. Okay. So, by whom were you taught to write? It follows all the rules that we have spoken right now. Okay. Next is, here we have been given direct speech, a sentence which is given in direct way. You have to make it indirect, or else you have to choose the option which is the exact indirect of this direct speech. And how do we know that it is direct speech? We have a reporting verb, we have speech or inverted commas. Okay, so obviously it is direct speech. Sheetal said to me, it's a question. Okay, Sheetal said to me, how have you solved this problem? When you change direct into indirect, what are the rules? You have to remove the speech commas or inverted commas, and you have to add that if required. But if it is a question, there is no that used. Okay, and then you have tense change also. We are talking about direct and indirect speech, not active passive. So here we have tense change. All particular present tenses change to corresponding past tense. So, what is the present tense here? Have solved is the tense. Have solved is actually present perfect. So, you have to make it into past perfect. Okay. Then, a few words also change in the context. This becomes that. Now becomes then. Okay, so this becomes that. Now is not given in the sentence, but I'm just telling you in addition to that sentence. So, Sheetal said to me, how have you solved? Have solved is given present perfect. You have to make it past perfect. So, what is the way to change it? Sheetal, it's a question asked, right? So, Sheetal asked me how I had, have solved, present perfect changes to past perfect. How I had solved that problem. This problem changes to that problem. And then full stop, not question mark. Okay. So, let us see if that is given as one of the options. Sheetal asked me how I had solved that problem. So, this is the first option itself is the correct answer. Sheetal asked me how I had solved that problem. Okay. So, here tense change is not given, so it cannot be taken. How I had solved this problem. So, this changes to that. So, that also cannot be taken. So, this is the correct option. Sheetal asked me how I had solved that problem. Okay. Again, we have a passage based question, and just a few prepositions and connecting words are to be used with which you can fill this up. So, for such types of passages, sometimes we do not even require the options or to check the options. Okay. The woodpeckers of the West are different. Okay. The woodpeckers of the West, with one exception, are different from those, not different than, but different from. So, different from this option. Different from those of the East, and so are the flycatchers, the grosbeaks, the orioles, the tanagers, the hummingbirds, and many of the sparrows. And so, I guess and also is given as one of the options. And many of the sparrows. Then instead of the purple and bronze grackles, instead means even after. So instead of the purple and bronze grackles, the latter are sometimes seen, seen on the plains of Colorado, but are not common. The Rockies boasts a brewered blackbird, whose habits are not as, whose, that also is given. So now it makes a sensible passage. The woodpeckers of the west are different from those of the east, and so are the ... And the hummingbirds and many of the sparrows, instead of the purple and bronze grackles, the latter are sometimes seen on the plains of Colorado, but are not. The Rockies boasts of brewer's blackbird, whose habits are not as prosaic as his name would indicate. Okay. So this time I guess both the passages based questions were very easy. Okay. So with that we come to the end of this discussion session. So very soon we will meet, and that is with another set of questions with the next, after the next exam we will meet again. So till then you take care of your health, and you study well and prepare well for the next exam. Similar types of questions could be expected. You remember the tips given to you, especially regarding the grammar part, so that the next time, those who have lost 1 or 2 marks, next time you can score better marks or maybe full marks. Okay. So good luck for the next exam. Thank you.